Let's take a look at how to perform a clean Neuron upgrade on the Windows operating system. Upgrading Neuron is very similar to the process for downloading a new version and installing from scratch. Once the installer has been successfully downloaded from the Neuron website, the first thing to do is to check the new version's compatibility with the current version. However, we strongly recommend carrying out a backup of the running node beforehand. To do so, open your web browser and access the web UI for the Neuron node you want to upgrade. The system will now ask us to introduce our username and password. So, I will type mine in and click on the blue login button below. At this point, we are ready to browse the web UI interface for the node we want to upgrade. Click on the config icon in the System section located to the left-hand side of the navigation panel. Next, click on the Manage Backups button in the bottom right-hand corner. The Backup Manager window will now pop up. Let's go ahead and click on the blue button Create in the bottom left-hand side window. At this point, the system will ask us to enter the backup file name. For the purpose of this video, I am going to use the current date, and then click on the OK blue button. Now, we click on the three dots button next to the previously saved backup file name, and select the Export option from the drop-down menu. Next, I select the location, and that's it. The backup file is finally saved. At this point, we stop the Neuron service. Now, let's right-click on the Neuron setup file, and select the option Run as Administrator, to ensure that Neuron runs as a service. As soon as it starts running, we are greeted with a welcome message. Click Next to continue. Accept the agreement, and continue with the upgrade process. We can now select the folder where we want to install Neuron. From version 1.21, Neuron runs natively as a 64-bit application. Therefore, by default it is installed to the Neuron folder in Program Files on the C disk. So be careful to modify that path in the installer, when upgrading from previous versions, to change it to the Program Files x86 folder on the C disk. In addition to this, and given that version 1.21 includes a considerable modification in terms of managing users and roles, upgrading from a previous version will automatically overwrite all users previously configured for the Web UI and Web Vision, meaning you will be required to recreate them. Click on Next to continue. We can now select which modules we want to upgrade. By default, all components are selected. Click Next to continue with the installation process. Here, we click on the Next button, leaving all default ports. Next, the Neuron Setup Wizard will ask us to choose the node name we want to use. Once complete, we click Next to continue. At this point, we are asked to review the choices made until now. If OK, we can click on the Install button to proceed. Next, the Setup Wizard will begin copying the necessary files, and getting everything ready for the installation process. Once the upgrade is complete, click on the Finish button to complete the installation process, leaving the default options checked. When the Neuron service starts, we are greeted with the Web UI login page. The system then asks us to introduce our username and password again, so I enter my credentials and click on the blue Login button below. At this point, the upgrade process is now complete, and we're ready to browse the new Neuron Web UI interface.